Your doctor said you were anxious. What your doctor didn't test, whether your hormones were the reason why. She's 44, project manager, mother, someone who had her life together. Now she doesn't know if she'll be functional by 2 p.m. She woke up fine at 9. By noon, something shifted. Not calm, foggy, heavy, like thinking through water. She's been to her GP, to a cardiologist for the palpitations, to a neurologist for the headaches, to a psychiatrist for the anxiety. Every specialist found something. Nothing connected. Her family says she's stressed. Her partner says she's withdrawn. Her boss doesn't say anything, but she notices the looks. She is not falling apart. Her system is, and she has no name for it yet. Today, we go there.
The menopause, the change. No matter what you call it, no matter who you are, all women reaching their 50s will go through it. Hardly anybody talks about it.
We're all living longer, we're all working longer, and menopause is a feature of midlife. It's the start of a new chapter. So why the persistent taboo? It really is time for a change. Menopause is not a choice. We all go through the menopause.
The first symptom was what I would only refer to as brain fog.
At first, I thought it was my, because I had ADHD, I still don't feel how I should. I mean, my skin was better, saved loads of money, and I didn't feel as, suicidal anymore, so it did help massively. Yeah. But I still just had no motivation to live.
What makes the perimenopause transition so destabilizing is not one thing. It is 3 things happening simultaneously. The first arena is inside your body. In the years before your final period, sometimes 5, sometimes 10 years before, your hormones don't decline gradually. They swing. A SWAN study tracking estradiol and FSH trajectories across hundreds of women found that extreme hormonal fluctuations are most pronounced in the early transition. Estrogen can be 3 times above normal 1 week, undetectable the next. This is why you don't know who you'll be by afternoon. It's not mood instability, it's not character. It's a hormonal environment that your brain, your heart, your immune system, all of which carry estrogen receptors, are trying to respond to in real time. You wake up, and you genuinely don't know if today is a functional day. That unpredictability becomes its own source of shame. You cancel plans. You stop making commitments. You start managing your life in smaller and smaller boxes because you can't trust what you know about yourself anymore. The second arena is the medical system. Here's what typically happens. You go to your GP. Your blood work comes back normal. Your FSH is within range, but this test was drawn on one single day, and FSH in early perimenopause fluctuates hour by hour. A single data point tells you almost nothing about the hormonal chaos underneath. You're referred to a cardiologist for the palpitations, a gastroenterologist for the bloating, a neurologist for the headaches, a psychiatrist for the anxiety and low mood. Each specialist works from within their own system. Nobody looks at the whole picture. A 2025 qualitative study published in PubMed documented this exact pattern.
Recent research featured in the Lancet Journal challenges the oversimplified narrative surrounding menopause.
Women in perimenopause are frequently prescribed antidepressants when the actual driver is hormonal dysregulation. And what the researchers found was stark. In many cases, the antidepressants didn't help. Some women got worse because the root cause was never addressed. You land in the psychiatric corner, not because you're mentally ill, but because the healthcare system has no standard category for hormonally driven multisystem dysfunction. This is a system problem, it is not a you problem. The third arena is the one nobody talks about, and the most corrosive. You become the woman who always has something. Your family sees someone who cancels dinner. Your partner sees someone who's changed. Your colleagues see someone who's less reliable than she used to be. A 2026 study published in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that perimenopausal women who experience social withdrawal due to symptoms enter a measurable feedback loop. Reduced social support increases stress perception. Increased stress measurably worsens hormonal symptoms. Worsened symptoms reduce social engagement further. It is a spiral with no obvious exit. And at the center of it is the question you've started asking yourself, am I just weak? Let me be very direct with you here. That question, the one you ask yourself at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep, or standing in the kitchen trying to remember why you walked in, is not a character assessment. It is a symptom. When estrogen fluctuates as dramatically as it does in perimenopause, the brain's threat detection system runs hot. Your amygdala is more reactive. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that says you're fine, you can handle this, has less fuel to work with. The self-doubt isn't coming from you. It's coming from a brain operating under conditions it was never designed to sustain indefinitely. Women who ask, "Am I just weak?" are, statistically, among the most resilient people in the room. They have been managing a moving target, a body that changes week by week, while continuing to show up for everyone around them. You are not weak. You are carrying something real, and you've been doing it mostly alone. A 2023 study, published under the title "I Was Just a Shell," documented how women in perimenopause systematically lose their sense of self.
They're not being told that what they're feeling isn't true, it's just something to do with stress. All your systems in your body are being affected because your sex hormones are changing. So remember puberty? When everything was changing and no one wants to live through puberty anymore? You're on the other side of that, you're in reverse puberty, where all of your hormones are starting to downregulate, so every system in your body is being affected.
Not because something is wrong with their character, but because the symptoms themselves undermine every system they relied on to feel competent, connected, and whole. That study didn't end there. It also documented something important. When women finally got a name for what they were experiencing, when the pattern became visible, the self-blame lifted. Not immediately, but measurably. Understanding is itself part of the treatment. You are not imagining this, and the research has known it for years. The Women Living Better survey, a large-scale healthcare study published in 2023, found that a striking number of perimenopausal women report that their primary care provider could not give them useful guidance about their symptoms. Not because doctors are bad doctors, because the training gap is real. Most medical education still frames perimenopause as hot flashes and irregular periods, not as a decade-long hormonal transition that affects the brain, the cardiovascular system, the immune system, and the nervous system simultaneously. What the research now knows, and what you deserve to know, is this. The symptom pattern you're experiencing is not random. It is biologically coherent. Every system that's signaling distress has estrogen receptors. They are all responding to the same shift. The fog has a mechanism, and understanding the mechanism is the beginning of finding the way out. If you suspect you're in the perimenopausal transition, a one-time FSH test is not enough. Ask your doctor about tracking FSH and estradiol at multiple points across your cycle, not just one draw. A 2024 case report series published in PMC found that women who used sequential hormone monitoring across their cycle got dramatically more clinically useful information than those tested once. Ask specifically about progesterone on day 21 of your cycle. This tells you whether ovulation is still occurring, something a routine blood panel won't show. DHEAS, the adrenal precursor hormone that declines in early perimenopause and directly affects energy, mood, and resilience. A full thyroid panel. TSH, free T3, and free T4. Thyroid dysfunction overlaps so closely with perimenopausal symptoms that it is routinely missed. One test is not enough to rule it out. Vitamin D, 25-OH. Low vitamin D in midlife women is linked to increased depressive symptoms and disrupted serotonin pathways. When a hormonal picture is confirmed, physicians often discuss hormone replacement therapy, estrogen, progesterone, or a combination. A 2024 landscape review confirmed that HRT remains the most evidence-supported pharmacological option for vasomotor and mood symptoms during the menopausal transition. That conversation should happen with your doctor based on your individual history and risk profile. Before or alongside that conversation, the research has also looked at what else moves the needle. A 2025 systematic review and meta-analysis found that regular resistance training reduced hot flash frequency and improved cognitive self-report in perimenopausal women, measurably, not marginally. Research published in Brain Behavior and Immunity found that omega-3 supplementation, specifically high EPA formulations, significantly improved motivation and mental clarity in individuals with elevated inflammation and protected against the cognitive deficits associated with declining estrogen. Magnesium activates the enzymes needed to convert vitamin D into its usable form and has been shown to support sleep architecture in women with hormonal disruption. And creatine, studied primarily for muscle preservation, has an emerging evidence base for brain energy metabolism in midlife women. These are not alternative medicine. They are studied interventions with peer-reviewed mechanisms. Always discuss any supplementation or lifestyle change with your healthcare provider. What happens in the perimenopausal transition doesn't stay there. The hormonal environment of your 40s is directly shaping the health of your brain at 70. The women who understand this now, who stop blaming themselves and start asking the right questions, are the ones who arrive at 70 with their cognition intact, their energy preserved, their future still theirs. This is not inevitable decline. This is a window, and you are standing in it right now. You've now seen the full picture, the 3 arenas, the biology behind them, and what the research actually shows. In the next video, we go into the first hormone to shift, often as early as your mid-30s. Its name is progesterone, and what it does inside your nervous system, how it keeps you calm, how it helps you sleep, how it buffers cortisol, is something almost no doctor has ever explained to you. If you want to take today's video with you, we've put together a free visual map of everything we covered, the lab values, the 3 arenas, the mechanisms, what the research found, all on one page, printable, shareable. The link is in the description. You are not falling apart. You are not alone. There is a mechanism, which means there is a way forward.